Hi, welcome to Esri Maps for Public Policy. This is a living atlas app that allows policymakers to use data layers, maps, and other resources to make decisions about various issues that they may be facing. So we're going to start by taking a little bit of a tour of the site so that you know how to use the complete site and what is located where. Up here at the top, you're going to see that we have 4 tabs. We have Overview, Explore, Issues, and Resources, and we'll explore these more in just a moment. But on the Overview tab, if we come here and scroll down, this is perhaps the easiest way to get started with using the app. There, right here in the middle, you see that there's a set of questions. As we scroll through these, you can see what those questions are. What can I learn about my community? What can I learn about people in my community, housing in my community, education, and so on. So it allows you to look at some of the biggest issues that face communities. And the way that you interact with the app is that you can use your current location, or you can find an address or place. And I'm going to put in the address for my school, which is 1 Hack Drive, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And then I'm going to click on Explore My Community, but I'm going to select a different question that I want to look at. I want to look at what are typical commutes within my community. So I click Explore the maps, and it will shoot back to me a collection of maps that look at factors relating to commute time. So we can see here on this map, it looking at the commute times to work for people that live in the area. And you can see that this is a predominance map showing what is the predominant category in each census tract that we see here. So if I click on this, it's going to show me that the predominant commute time is less than 15 minutes. And that makes kind of sense because the city of Harrisburg is right here, and a lot of the people that live near Harrisburg work in Harrisburg. But as you get away from like the city, you can kind of start seeing how the commute times pick up in that area. To explore different maps that are associated with commute time, we have all of these here, so we can look at these maps simply by clicking view, and you can see it changes the map, and it allows us to look at in this case, percent of workers who commuted by driving alone. And again, you can see what that looks like here. Now, the thing that I think is so wonderful about this app, it's scalable. Like in this case, we put in a address to look at a specific location that's in our local community. But if you wanted then to compare it to what conditions are outside of that community, you can just simply scroll out and you can go to the county level, the state level, and then even the national picture. So it allows you to look at phenomena on all those different scales, which I think is really important. So you can, again, just move through your maps simply by clicking view, or you can be using these arrows up here. Notice that this is what's called a collection of maps, and we can actually share this collection of maps simply by clicking copy, and then you can share that via email. You can embed it into a website, or what have you. So there's lots of opportunities there to share the maps that you have here. So that's using the Overview tab, and that's using the area down here where there's questions. This is, I think, the easiest way to first begin interacting with the app is by using these questions just to get a sense of what the community is like. But perhaps you're not really a fan of that approach, and you want to dig a little bit deeper into issues that aren't represented there. That's when we go to the Explore tab. In the Explore tab, notice that we have all these categories over here, from population to housing to infrastructure and so on. And notice that in my collection of maps, there's no maps in that collection. So we can actually be building our own map collections here, which is really exciting. And one issue that I consistently get asked about from our administration is, what does broadband look like in our community? So I'm going to actually go to, I believe it's under the infrastructure, and I want to look at all the maps relating to broadband. And then it brings up the results. And I can come down here and start taking a look at them. And I'm going to first go to where are youth who don't have access to internet? And because it zoomed me into to Florida, I'm going to come back here to Pennsylvania and look at my own community. This general area that I'm showing here on the map is our college's service area. We have an 11 county service area in central Pennsylvania, and there's areas on our northern fringes where internet access isn't as prominent as in the more urban areas. But this particular map is where youth don't have access to internet, and we can kind of look around to see where that is. And if we open up our legend here, this can help us interpret the map. So basically, the lighter the color here means the more youth that don't have access to internet. And then if you click on any one of these, and I'll click on one that's a little bit lower down here, you can, it tells you what census tract it is. It tells you how many youth in this area don't have access to a computer without an internet subscription. And you can hover over these pop-ups on this chart to see the data associated with that. So that's how you can be using these maps. But again, we can look at a local, regional, and national level with this, and we can see then which areas, as we scroll out, don't have access. So you can kind of see these areas around some of our bigger cities where youth don't have access to internet. Now, let's say that I want to make sure that I put this map in my collection. Like, I want to be sharing like a bunch of maps with my administration having to do with broadband. I can click collect, and now it becomes in my collection of maps. And notice how this goes to map 1 of 1. So now I'm going to continue my shopping for other maps that might be helpful in understanding broadband in my area. And I'm going to go to, let's see here. Where are households without internet access in relation to population settlement? And again, I can zoom in to take a closer look at what things look like in my area. And then it starts telling you what type of structure type for the cell towers here. So if I keep zooming in, we'll start seeing some of this data come up. And you'll also see the rest of the legend there. And if we keep scrolling down, we can see that the lighter areas are the percent of households with no internet access. Those lighter areas are areas where there's the most households without internet access. So you can look at the different data here to better understand the phenomena here. And it looks like this has been archived, so that's why it's not showing on the map here. But again, the really helpful map in understanding where internet access is and isn't. So I'm going to add that to my collection. And let's just pretend for a moment that we looked at all these maps and we decided we went this one and this one as well. So now I have 4 maps, and notice how they just get added here. Now, if I want to share this with a colleague, I just click on the share and go to copy. And if I send them this link, they're going to be able to look at this collection of maps and review them in the same way that you were just able to review them. So the wonderful thing about Esri Maps for Public Policy is that you don't need to sign in to be able to use these maps. You just need internet access to be able to use them. So that is Another way of using Esri Maps for public policy. Again, you can do it by using the question method here on the Overview tab. You can use the list here on the Explore, and this tends to be my preferred way of interacting is by using this particular tab. Now, this is where it gets to be a little bit more fun, and this is a little bit beyond this week, but then when you click on Issues, this is where we have those same categories that we just saw in the previous Explore tab over here on the left. We had those same categories going across here, but now these are the actual data layers for maps. So like this is data that you can actually use to build your own map. So let's say that I want to, let's see what I want to look at here. Let's just say that we want the 2020 population characteristics. So if I click on this, it's going to open its item details page. And as we move through the course, you're going to learn about item details. It's like the metadata for our data layers. It's telling us what the data is intended for. It gives you a description of it, and then it gives you a description of the attributes that are in the attribute table. And if I want, I can open this in Map Viewer and then start using this data to construct my own map with that I have a bit more control over than what I would have in Esri Maps for public policy. And you can see when I zoom in, the geography changes. And that's kind of one of the neat thing about some of the data layers that we're going to be using this semester. Like notice that when I come in here to population characteristics, we have different levels. So I can actually zoom to those so that we looking at it now at a national level. When we zoom in, notice how it goes to the state level. We continue zooming in. It goes then to the county level. And you notice over here in the legend that the one that it's currently displaying is black and the others are grayed out. And now let's say I want to look at it at the census tract level. I just keep zooming in and zooming in and waiting for it to change to census tracts. And then finally, it goes to the block group. And this is great because this, again, allows us to do analysis at various geographic scales and looking at things from a local level all the way up to a national level. And this type of thing with this data, we'll get into a little bit more in week 2 when we learn how to build our own maps in Map Viewer. But if you're looking for policy related data to use in your maps, the Esri Maps for Public Policy is a great place to go. And then finally, I want to mention the Resources tab because this Resources tab is really, really good. This has videos that show you how to use the app, and they're all like really short, 2-3 minute videos. So if you get stuck anywhere, like it shows you exactly how to go through and use the app. So I encourage you to look at these, especially if you think that you're going to be using this app a lot in your work. Having the whole app down and what you can do with it is a good way to start. So that's Esri Maps for Public Policy. And this is what you're going to be working on for your first assignment. You all will have a different assignment associated with this app to complete so that you can see how it applies to the work that you do.